there is a new way of computing property taxes.
Oh,
And I didn't bring the sheet with me because I forgot.
you need to email it.
But it's, there's a county and city taxes and everything else taxes. And then there's a computation for school taxes. And then they combine the two. So, it's still less than what it used to be.
So
It used to be, you take your market value that the county has, and you multiply it by 0.0796. Now it's 0.0606 something, and then the school is 0.75, and then you combine them. So
Okay.
it's just, if you're ever ballparking it for a new build, it's on the county's website, but. So, did you guys get your property evaluation from the county?
Yeah, actually,
Mine are
all
lower.
of my properties came down.
All of
Me
mine,
too.
mine
That's what I've
went
been
down,
Yeah.
not much, but like 16,000.
Right, they
But,
all came down.
I have a friend
Really?
that
I
has
looked at mine.
40 acres, 24, about 4,000 square foot home, 24 above grade, 2,400 above grade, and 2,800 square foot shop. And hers went up $79,000. And I thought, how is that possible? When most of the market goes down, hers goes up like,
79,000.
so, you know, like,
Some houses around her sold for a lot or something? So
well,
think.
I looked up one that just sold.
Where was it at?
It's out on Soapweed in Cal.
Oh, Soapweed. Oh, I know
Assessor?
exactly where it
I own
is.
that.
So,
I do look at Oklahoma's. I've
There
never
was
been.
one that just sold
Is it like
in that
through
time
here?
frame, right? In
On
that,
Yeah.
El Paso.
18
I've
months
sold a
ago.
couple on Soapweed. So,
that was
Oh, yeah,
within
that
5
one.
miles.
yeah.
That sold for 600, and I looked theirs up, and they went up to 758. And they just bought for
Yeah.
$599,
Wow.
and in that time frame.
Should I go to this
Wow.
one, like where I'm in
So
here?
I
and
use
it's-
that as a comp. I'm meeting with her on
What's it called?
Saturday.
Okay.
She's not
Oh,
ready
you
to
see all
sell,
the
but
county
she
records
told me,
and
"When I'm ready."
Tax?
Sure.
When did that notice
Yeah,
evaluation
realist
come out
is
for
on
you guys?
Oh, okay.
I think we got it
Just
like
type in,
this
like, my
month. Yeah, we
address.
got a.
Thank you for
All,
the
it all
reminder.
came down, huh?
Yeah.
Mr.
Because-
Title Man.
It's a
But
great
the
opportunity.
ones out
I don't
east
know,
did
not everybody, but a lot of it came down.
Like all of mine came down. So
Nice.
I'm thinking that there's a lot of people, like you said, a great opportunity
Yeah.
to contact people and say,
Yeah.
hey, your taxes went down because
It
your
is good.
valuation went down. Your valuation went down, not evaluation.
So
And
here's
you
what
can,
she.
you can contest it through the assessor's office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
and say I want it to go back up.
Well, she called me because
was
she's gonna
comfortable.
appeal it, and she called me. She says, "I just want to know. I'm not ready to sell yet, and I'll call you when we do. But if I get them to knock it down 70 grand or whatever, will that impact how much I can sell my property?" For?
Well, it could potentially.
And I said,
It's not going to, but
not at all,
well, you said not at all.
not at all.
I think sometimes it does now.
You're
You
using
can
sold
mention it in the
comps.
comments, can't hurt.
You're using sold comps.
I always tell people don't listen to that, but I keep running across people that are like, well, our offer was based on even the assessor evaluate, and I have to argue
Well, yeah,
with
but
other people, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. Why am I arguing about this?
Yeah, here's the problem with arguing with stupidity. You're arguing with stupidity.
You're right, exactly.
You know.
I know, but you're trying to get a buyer too at the same time. You know, I don't know if she's going to sell within the next 3 months. I don't think I would argue. I wouldn't try to get the valuation down. What big deal?
Appraisers.
So what are you
I've
saying
asked
you should do?
several
Oh, the
people
one
that
that-
do appraisals, and I go, "Do you ever look at the RVM or AVM or county?"
No, they don't.
And they go,
What is that?
"Don't ever look at it."
No, it's the buyers. It's the Zestimates. All the different home
Oh,
valuation
yeah.
programs. That's the part that
We've been battling Zillow.
they pull up anything on Zillow, and
Hey,
if it's too
Zillow
low,
says my property is worth $550, so I think we should sell.
Well, not to mention.
I said, "Okay, well, let me pull some comps." I go, "Wow, Zillow, totally missed their decimal point area there. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, no, it's like.
But here's what
4.
you're talking about. You're talking about soapweed way out, 30, 40 miles, at least 30 miles out
20.
from here. 20, okay? So you've got double wides, custom built with a nice barn and whatever.
Right, well, hers is
a new
nice.
built over here, a 1970 over here, right? So then when Zillow puts all that together, they're using all this data from all the
Right.
different things, not just recent sales.
Yeah, well, the county,
And then-
at least, I would hope the county would have, I wish they would come, so I said, did they give you comps? And she sent me some, and I go, did you look those up? Or did the county? Because some of those were on 5 acres, didn't work. She's 40.
Right, yeah.
Don't bother with 5
And you can
acres.
adjust with 40
But
and
you-
5
yeah,
and
but
10.
you know what? There's not an appraiser on earth that's gonna take a 5 acre listing and compare it to, even if it's the exact same house, compare it to a 40 acre listing. It's two different
Could they
freaking.
adjust a 20 acre to a 40 acre?
Well, I remember doing, I've done a couple BPOs where they wouldn't take a 35 to a 40. I thought that was a little rough,
Okay.
but this is a valuation company telling me to find better comps.
So I would just say if the lady's gonna sell in this summer.
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna be anytime this year.
Oh, okay, if it's next year,
But,
whatever, that's
but
fine.
I said, you know what?
Well, what's the
still-
impact on $79,000
$500.
a year? Do you think she'll sell next year?
I don't know. Her husband died almost 2 years ago, and she's just.
See, in that
Still don't-
area, I would definitely want to keep everything pop. I want Zillow to be as high as possible.
Well, you know what?
Do you realize when I do it now?
There's
We're
one
saying
comp.
this on camera here. Okay,
There's one comp that I say.
I can delete
the,
it.
the best. There's 2 comps that are really good. One's at 610, and so they said it was like it was 758 is the new number, and the other one is a really good comp, but it's at 799. So she'll probably lose,
Yeah.
but
So I am doing listing appointments like every other day. I'm doing a lot of this stuff, and so I'm trying to craft my speech or my spiel or whatever and my analysis and everything, because I've lost multiple listings by going in to do my analysis and I go, your house is worth X, and they choose someone else, and I'm thinking, what in the world? What did I do wrong? Well, some of them said, well, that's because you underpriced it, and Zillow even has it at blah blah blah, so it's got to be worth that, right? So you know what I do now?
I don't.
look at Zillow.
I don't.
I look at Zillow
Just, yeah.
always
Always.
before
Yes,
I do my
everything.
analysis
I
now,
absolutely always.
and then I do my analysis and I try to justify
I
Zillow.
ask
Right?
him first. I ask, what do you want to get out of your house?
No, I don't do that. They would throw me out the wall.
So- and-
Boot my ass.
Because I told a client once, I go, I think we're pretty solid around 750, and she goes, oh, I'm thinking 9. Thank God it was a long time loyal client,
Yeah, right.
and the fact that they moved away is killing my business, but because she'd be about due right now. And
One of those.
and it was like, so we listed at 875 and we ended up selling for 740.
Okay.
10,000 less than I already told her 8 months before that. But
But have you ever gone the opposite direction? I have.
so here's what I just say. I'll look at all. I go, what are you thinking your home is worth? Because I tell them there's AVM, RVM, all this stuff, and the range on it is going to be $100,000. So what are your goals here? Because I can't help you meet your goals if I don't know what they are, and then they're forced to tell me.
But what if you told her it's worth 750, and she said, you know what? I think I want to do 900, and you do 875, and you sell it for 875. Do you think her impression of you, like, thank God I told him 875
Right,
because
yeah.
he told me 750, I would have lost 125 grand.
Well,
She lost.
That happened to me one time.
that's never happened.
The
to me.
exact same amount.
Here's
It
what's
was
happened.
850.
But here's what's happened to me. I think it's 520 to 535-ish. And well, Ted Becerra says it's worth 600. I go, well, yeah, I'll list it wherever you want. We'll list it at 700 if you want, you know?
Well, I say that
And-
too, but you've already put your foot in your mouth.
Well,
you know,
here's what
backtrack.
happened. Here's what happened. Ted got the listing. They listed it for like $595,
Uh-huh.
and they sold it for $525.
Yeah, but it does, I mean, they
And
still.
I'm right,
And
and
he got
he
the
was going to
sale.
the bank.
Yeah, exactly. He got the
Right,
sale.
exactly.
You know,
So-
so I don't even, if they ask
So
me.
I went to 2 appointments yesterday, and I told both of them, I don't know what your house is worth, right? And I sat at their table and talked to them and said, I'll go back and I'll do some analysis. And
Yep, I gotta
and I
see
got
them
their,
first.
Yeah.
and they're like, well, you know, the house across the street, everybody was telling me that my house is lower than them because that one sold 2 months ago, and so they're giving me data.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
love that.
That they're
And
basing their
so
life
then,
on, right?
and because I tell them, you know, this is the first time I saw your house, that's why I can't do an analysis.
And that's
And
what
I
I do
tell them
now,
I'm
too.
going to go in and I'm going to look at everything and what compensating factors there are. And I'm like, you got solar, this is paying off, you know, blah, 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 you know. So then I go back, then I'm looking at, you know, Zillow, and I'm looking at the comps, because sometimes the comps are lowest is 400, highest is 600,
Right.
and they're similar square footage all the way in between.
Yeah.
Right.
So this
You
one's a
gotta
piece of
look.
crap. This one is a really high-end flip. Where are they going to meet? And so that's why I don't use the little MLS. I guess they have like a thing where you can do an analysis and it pulls comps or whatever.
Yeah, you
I don't
can-
do any of that crap.
you can
I
adjust.
literally look through every property, and then I come up with a thing with the other data that I have, and then I go, here's what we can do. You can always come down. We can never go back up. So here's my max in my brain,
Yeah,
you know? And so,
I use that excuse too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I gotta look at it, you know, 100, you know, price per square foot doesn't work because some feet are nicer than other feet.
I
Right.
also feel like though, if you go
That's
low, you really can't go too low because all it's going to do is create multiple offers. if
Hopefully,
you're too low,
though.
hopefully. I mean, because I always say there's not really many smart sellers or buyers in Colorado
Right.
Springs. I mean, dumb. There's not any.
Right.
There's not many dumb ones. Yeah. Sorry.
No,
I
there's-
mean, and that's why like.
No, I think you had it right the
I mean,
first
even
time.
with like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like with Jessica's little townhouse she did. I mean, the lady was so open to going low. I'm like, because you know, there's a lot of townhouses on the market. Like yours may be worth $245, but like you know, Jessica went in at $237.5, and I thought that was really smart because like you're not going to underprice it. I don't think.
Right.
no, not for townhomes are different
Yeah.
because they're all just cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Same
Well,
plan,
they're-
same
Yeah.
this, same that, but
Tough to
it's
sell
on
right
these
now.
harder houses that are custom or whatever.
Yeah.
So like right now I have a 1.3 in that I just landed out in Elbert.
Oh gosh.
And when I got out there, he was just like, you know, let me tell you about, I'm going to even talk like him. Let me tell you about these realtors that just keep coming out here. They're all young. They think they know everything. They don't know anything. And they refuse to put Black Forest in there. They put Elbert, you know, and whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now I know that that's important. He does not want me to put Elbert.
Elbert.
It's going to have an address of Elbert. We got to figure out, could I put a sub
Yeah.
area? You know, what do I need to do? I got to
Known
figure that
as.
out, right?
Yeah, well, I think sub area, Black Forest is a sub area.
I know.
Does it auto-populate?
I haven't
I
done
don't
it
think
yet.
it does. I don't think.
But he
What are you
given-
going to do if it has
Put it
to
in the
say Elbert?
description. Right, the first word of the
Well, so
description.
Yeah.
so then I looked at his pictures on the. I said, let me pull up your MLS really
Yeah.
quick because it was expired 6 months.
Where
I
is
pulled it up. It was the worst pictures I've ever.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, $1 million
Yeah.
house. I go, is this your house right here? And he goes, I've never seen that. What the hell? He literally said, what the hell? I go, yeah, that's not very good. That's a cell phone picture. I'm so sorry. No drone shots. He had these huge barns, huge RV garages. You know,
Oh,
like,
wow.
but the one problem I'm going to have when I was doing the analysis is everything in Elbert is a bunch of trash.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And he's got this
It'd be hard to
beautiful
comp that.
oasis right in the middle.
Yeah.
Is it in
Different.
Albert?
In
He's
Elbert.
Oh,
He's
it's
proud.
not out.
Proud.
No. And so then I started taking, beyond Hodgen Road, like literally like 1 mile out this way.
How
There's
big
all
is
these
it?
$1 million homes up here in
How
this
big's
other
the
area.
lot?
5 acres.
But I mean, but
And-
that's why there's like he bought cheap land and he put a great house on it.
Right.
It's got to be. I mean, it
So
is
what I have to
over.
do,
I mean,
what I feel like I have to
custom
do
comping.
Yeah.
is I have to, there was no drone photos and whatnot.
Yeah.
I got to get, it's all green right now. So I was like, dude, you need to let me get out there now.
Yes.
While the rain is, and he's like, all right, let's do it, And so it's vacant. And so, because he's had multiple realtors, I guess, try
What's the address?
back then, but,
So you landed it based off of an expired listing you found?
yeah, it's
That's
expired
awesome.
listing.
Did you have your
And-
ISA call?
ISA called.
Because I hired my son to be my ISA because he's been in car sales and stuff. He's done that.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
trust
yeah.
him I was like, you're gonna help me out, and yeah. So
Just give him the script.
yeah, I don't think he I think he's really solid. Like, because
Nice.
he's helped me in certain ways. Like, oh, maybe you should approach it like this. I'm like, you're so smart. Yeah.
16080 Homecrest. One word.
How many acres?
5 acres. So what I think I have to do is I have to get drone work done, really show the shops, the RV garages and the barns, and because they're really high end.
Yeah.
Show the house with the video production, because they didn't do any video production. It was just somebody he hired that says, I specialize out here in Albert and you want to hire me, right?
Oh,
I got horses too. I know how to sell a
Yeah.
house. Yeah, but you don't spend a dime marketing my house, right? And so I think if I get it out there and not show the houses around, you'll get the people that are in Japan and in South Africa or whatever looking at that, right?
Or maybe
You know?
someone that just wants
Hawaii.
the barns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I think that's how I'm going to get them in there.
Well, and out there is like off the beaten path too, so there's not a lot of like real traffic.
Oh, I told him I was going to
looking
put it
at
in
that kind
Denver
of stuff.
MLS too, which they
Yeah.
didn't do that. That's going to be
Oh
kind
my
of big because
gosh. Uh-huh.
that'd be
Yeah, that's
kind of a
great.
close
And in
thing.
the
I have
middle.
to go. Okay.
Okay, see you later. I'm just going to
Bye.
tell everybody about what I told you earlier
Okay,
about
perfect.
things.
All right, let me know.
Yep. Did you pull up the old pictures of that one?
Yeah.
There's only 3 on Zillow. His outbuildings are gonna sell it, right?
Well,
Yeah, but
It's got
do the
solar
pictures
on
look
one of
good?
them.
The pictures look horrible, don't they?
There's only exterior in Zillow.
But let me tell you what that agent did.
nice
That
barn.
that listed that. She got him in touch with one of those companies where they go, "Hey,
Oh, yeah.
we'll pay
Oh god.
$30,000 to rehab your home and to fix it up and paint it and put new carpet, blah blah blah. If you give us $50,000 when it sells or something, the extra equity they get, equity
Yeah.
up or something like that is what they're called." And so they did all that. Well, while they were rehabbing it, they had a pipe break that they put a nail in or something, and it flooded the home for like 5 days, full of water. So he had to call insurance and different things, and they had to come in, and they spent like $100 grand redoing everything. Well, that up equity, they just lost their 30 grand or whatever because they didn't even put a lien against the property or anything because they made a mistake. So that was pretty interesting. So it's going to help me. Okay. Because
they're out now, yeah.
the insurance rehabbed the house. So I'll be the guy that sells it.
Nice.
Exactly. Okay, so what I was going to tell you guys about, how I belong to this referral exchange, UpNest, and it seems like all these companies are now going towards, everybody pays $250, $300 or whatever, and then they give us 35% of the deal, right? If you noticed, there's a lot of these companies out there doing that now. Instead of going like Zillow, the traditional, give us $7,000 a month and we'll give you leads,
yeah.
right? And then you just get to keep everything. So now they're putting their money where their mouth is, where they're just charging. So I started thinking about that because what Scott's doing and stuff and getting all these lead gens is I thought, what if we created like an agent advantage type of program, acquire advantage type of program where we're all pooling in, well, whoever wants to join, not everybody, but everybody pools in, a couple $100 a month, kind of like these programs. And let's say you had 10 people that wanted to do it, right? That would be $2,000 a month that we could do our own lead gen, make our own pages with funnel systems and go out there and we could make it as loose as we want, where things are coming in and we're calling people that are kicking tires, all the way down to a very detailed type of form where they're like, I want an agent to contact me, and it drops out the bottom of the funnel, right? So you can have multiple different types. You could also do not just lead gen like on Facebook and Nextdoor and YouTube and different things. You could do a commercial on the radio. You know, wehavethebuyers.com, right? You know that, right?
Right.
We got 10 million buyers. You know, go to this website, right? And they go and then leads drop out.
Acquire has the buyer.
Yeah, acquire as the buyer. Yeah, exactly. Let's help you acquire your next
Buyer.
property. So, anyway, it's more of numbers. You know, if you have $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year. What can we do? Like, I don't want to spend. When I was spending $7,000 a month with Zillow, in January I was like, wow, I'm $84,000 in the hole right now through December.
So it
I
never
better
really-
make some daggum money.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it was Zillow, and I did make some money. And then they started changing all their stuff, and so I quit. But 24,000, I don't even want to spend 24,000 a year
Right.
Right.
lead genning, even though that's probably what I'm spending right now. But I would think it'd be good if people are spending less and we pool it together and we create some sort of program. But the way the program would work, and I don't have it fully in my, you know, I've been thinking about all these different methods, but I told Scott about it. Scott, let's do this. And he goes, yeah, I would not want to spend the time doing that. That's not worth it for me. That's too much work. Oh, okay. I get that. Okay. Because if everybody pulled in, he had $2,000 a month to do all that advertising, he wouldn't want, that would just be like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, yeah.
And I
He's
said,
got
okay,
some of
that's
those too.
why these lead gen companies have like a referral, like a 25% referral, because it has to pay for the marketing people and all the people that have all their whatever they do, because they're taking all of our $200, putting that out there, getting leads, but they got to have somebody facilitate that. They got to
yeah.
make money somehow. And I said, Scott, what if we did something like a 25%? We all, you know, we could put in $200 each. There's a 25% referral fee that goes to the program, and then the program, you know, can save up a little bit of money as people close deals, and then we can hire a professional manager that manages that all of that stuff, right? They could create events for us. Like, what if there was, because you know that 25% referral, you would be banking some of that money. Let's say you banked $50,000 in a year or whatever, and you had to pay a professional marketing person $20,000, right? But you had $30,000 extra that you could do events or, you know,
Or
who knows what
yeah,
it could
or
do,
ramp it up,
right?
too.
Yeah, it would totally ramp things
up
up.
the marketing.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And that's like taking the game to Zillow, like, and to all these, you know, referral companies. Like, you guys, at some point, you need to combat that somehow with your agency, right? And if you can do it yourself, then we need to move it back. We need to move the lead generation back away from those companies if you can. That's why, like, I'm
Right.
trying to push emails and phone numbers to get people to call people, right?
Right.
To get them back in the old school way of prospecting, you know, instead of spending all that kind of money.
And so, you know, the IBA thing, when I created the IBA with the 5 brokerages, I pitched a similar thing to them, going, look, we're all local companies, and you want to tell everybody, use local, use local, use local.
right.
And you don't need Engel and Volkers from Germany agents.
Or from Denver, yeah.
Right,
From
exactly.
Denver,
You know,
or Weston, Maine.
You know, you can use a local company that people have been here and stuff like that, right? And so when I pitched that to those guys, they were all for it. I raised $32,000, and I told all the companies we all have to pitch in money, and they all pitched in money. And then the next year, they're like, I don't want to pitch in more money. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, just spent tens of thousands of dollars, I was having, people were calling me, other agents and stuff wanting to belong, and, it was giving us exposure. But when the companies are like, I don't know why they don't want to spend money. Well, I kind of know, because people start losing money in brokerages and stuff if they, but I think they wanted to concentrate on themselves. So that's when I started thinking, well, screw those other companies. I could do that myself. I could create something where we could get our own leads, and
There's your
pool
retirement.
together. I don't have to pool together with 5 companies. I can just pool together with other agents in here.
We
and
do
can
have
make
power
money.
in here. If we
Absolutely.
Oh, totally
yeah,
we
in the
would.
numbers we have here. We have a really good group here.
Right.
You just
So
have
you're,
to.
you're talking about just hiring a marketing professional in general.
Yeah, well, it would only be for the agent acquire advantage program people,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't
Because we
be
don't want to promote your brand for everybody in here that's not participating. We
Exactly.
want to promote this new
the
brand
people
for
that
the
want to
people
be
that are ready to work.
involved. That's right.
Yeah. So
Right.
when your agents in here, you say, do you want to be, or if you're an agent that closes once a year, you don't want to put in more money and do all this. But if you're an agent that is really hungry and ready to go, then we have this option for you.
Right, right. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you guys can join the brokerage. You have your low fees, $3.99 a transaction. Great. But if you want to pay an extra $200 for the Acquire Advantage program, you can pool with these other 10 people.
Right.
And we have a landing page with leads coming in.
And it's still cheaper than 95% of the brokerage firms in this
Yeah.
town.
Well, except there would be that 25%
There would be that for,
referral fee.
for those
Yeah,
deals though.
For those deals, exactly,
Yeah.
yes. For those deals. And then that would have to, because we would start off with, Scott would just get it up and running with trying to get some leads in. And then if you guys start closing them, and we would save up a little bit of that money, and then we would put it towards hiring a marketing person to take over Scott's job so that he can do
Yeah.
business. And then it would just kind of grow from there.
I mean, I'd be down for that for sure. Anything,
Yeah.
like I said, I need to try to get more leads.
Yeah, marketing
Right.
is worth the investment when you have the
Yeah.
right
I agree.
system in place.
And
Yeah.
if you can get the leads, that's just the battle. Is how are you going to do? How do
Right.
you get all that? Because you're going to probably have to spend some money marketing that,
Yeah.
so that you guys are everywhere. So people.
And then that
can-
people will go to that instead of like Realtor.com.
Mhm.
Go to your Acquire Advantage.
Right, exactly. Because if you think about some of the heavy hitters that are spending, like I said, when I was spending 84,000, that was a heavy hitter type of spending, right? But it was ridiculous that I did all that. And like Barb, well, put it this way: Zillow, when I complained about spending $7,000 a month, they went, "Oh, Rob, you're on the low end. We got agents spending $30,000
Oh,
a
yeah.
month in this
Oh, my
town."
word.
And I went, "Wow, who is that?" Oh, Judd Johnson, or what is his name? Johnson team, 30,000 a
Jeffrey.
month. I'm going, oh, dude. Okay, I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
done with
yeah.
Zillow.
Yeah.
Right? I'll do it myself. I'll do something myself.
Yeah.
Forget that.
Yeah.
Because what they were doing is, let's say 80918, let's say you pick that zip code, and they go, okay, Rob, we have for 20,000 a month, you can have 100% of 80918. Do you guys know how this whole stuff works? Yeah, and so then as the algorithms start going out with 80918, they start getting more impressions, and they go, oh wow, we're giving Rob more than what he first signed up for, so now we're going to take him
We're
down
going to throttle
to
them down.
80%. We're going to sell
Open up
20% to
that
another
area.
agent because
Yeah.
we up the impressions. They're like using my money to bring in more agents,
higher
right?
costs,
I know
yeah.
it's so pitiful.
It's
it
almost
really
a
is.
bait and switch.
It is a bait slip, and so then they want more money
you're
from
doing
me
so
to
good,
get.
then.
But I feel like Realtor.com kind of works like that though too.
I'm sure they all
They
work.
all
100%.
work like that.
From based off of like how he was explaining things on like the cost depending on zip codes and how many leads put in. I'm like, it sounds like
Oh,
it's
I wanted,
frustrating, but it's like at least it's something I'm gonna try.
I wanted So I think 80917, I think we pay like $575 a month. I wanted 80918
Yeah.
because that's the gravy, man. That's the heart of the Springs, and it goes from 500 to
Yeah.
Million.
Prime.
2 million.
Yeah, right.
You know. And he said, "Well, that's open." I said, "Great. What's that one look like?" So I'm thinking, okay, instead of 575, it's going to be 775.
7,000.
It was like 4,800
Yeah.
bucks. a month.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
And I'm like, holy crap!
Lord.
Hang on.
That's just one stinking zip code.
Let me check my numbers really quick. What numbers? My lotto numbers. I haven't looked.
How is there no regulation over that?
You know what I did though?
You know, there's got to be something.
No, there's no that's it's sales, right? So what I did was I quit paying them $7,000 a month, and I bought $52,000 of their stock. I'm literally carrying
Yeah, because it's
like
Yeah,
1,000
yeah.
shares
You'll
of
make
Zillow right now or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
But it's
because
so
I know
sad
it's
because
gonna
it's
go
like,
back
you know,
up.
you're supporting that, and it feels
Yeah.
like it's just like it should be regulated in a sense, so it's
You know,
not.
yeah,
Hey, so they
for me,
can't,
it was
they're
very
going to
frustrating.
monopolize all of it.
Spending,
Yeah.
I just thought, well, it's a tax write-off because I got one person that was actually like set up a showing. No, 2 people, and they both never showed up.
God.
Never
Like
showed
that?
up.
Yeah, it's frustrating. So
Never showed up.
So let me bring this up. Tell me what you think. So Scott was like, because he's like a computer wizard and he knows all this stuff. He was like, Dad, look, we can. You could say 200 a month, but let's say somebody in the program wants to spend 1,000 a month because they want more leads. I can do that too. I said, well, how would that work? He goes, well, you know, let's say you have somebody that puts in $1,000 a month and it generates 5 leads a week or whatever. They get 5 leads a week, and these people get 2 leads a week, or this guy gets 1 lead a week. But you have to be minimum of 200 type of thing. Would you think that would be something? Because I don't know if I like that idea because it puts it almost in that Zillow category.
It does. Well, then how do you actually regulate how much somebody does get?
Exactly. He would do a percentage of, you know, if
He'll
the
never sell real
well-
estate again. He'll be doing this the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah, that's a
you
lot
know-
of math. That's a lot of, you know,
But he
finding
can
like
create
the right
the
formulas to-
program
He
to
create
do
the
that.
algorithm probably.
The
too.
algorithm, yeah.
Yeah.
He can create
And
that.
way to
so-
go, who's next in the queue? Because remember, we used to do that, who's next in the queue for the Zillow leads.
Yeah.
And then we went to, goes out to everybody, first come, first serve. And I never got another chance at a lead.
Oh yeah. So that was the
Because-
question too.
Because it would
Unfair.
hit, and because of my phone service, I
Oh,
would get the lead is gone
I can turn it on.
text before I got the lead is available text.
There's no
Yeah, that's
batteries.
horrible.
And
It
Mark
ran out
May
of
got
batteries.
every one of them.
Oh, okay, it's on my
God.
desk.
And then Brenda took me off the list because you don't ever respond. And I go, I don't ever have a chance to.
Needs oversight.
They're gone before I get them.
So yeah, okay. So
you know,
Scott keeps track of all of that through what's that stuff that you guys use? Bolt Trail.
Trail.
He keeps track of all that. So when he gives people leads, he's like, yeah, such and such it has 3% call ratio. He doesn't
Yeah.
call any of them, right? And this person has a 95% call
Right.
ratio. So like Damon, he's getting these leads and he's closed 10 of them. Then other people that are getting the same leads because he's doing round robin like this, close 0.
We'd have to
And
trust Scott or whoever.
so then you talk to
Yeah.
you talk to this person and they go, oh yeah, the leads aren't that great or whatever. You talk to Damon with a 95% call ratio, he's got 10 closings.
right.
And this person's
calling.
complaining about the leads, right? And so it's like, so Scott just takes them off the leads.
Was it the same quality level leads?
They're the exact
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
He basically set up a program where it's
Gotcha,
going round
yeah.
robin, and this person's killing it, and this person's not.
Okay,
And
so
this
maybe they're
person's
just
not
not getting the
calling. This
calls.
person's calling 95%. And it's like, okay, those people don't want to work. They're not getting leads because you're spending thousands of dollars
Yeah,
getting the
okay.
leads, right? And so it's not that they're bad. It's just that this guy is a hound dog, and he's calling, and so he's got his 10 closings. And so so like Damon, he works another job, but he wants to be a full-time realtor. Well, he's making some good money in real estate, but he's still scared. But that's why he's a hound dog. He's trying to be full-time, and so he can quit his job.
Where does he
Right.
work?
For the glass company.
That glass company.
All the guys work
Oh
there.
yeah.
Scotty works there, and he
Which
works.
glass company is it?
I don't know the name of it, but
I don't know. It's down off of Fillmore, and they produce like wafer, like glass things for
Like computer chips.
computer things or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
And he literally he would go in and say, look, I'm putting these special glass things. I'm fusing these glass things together, and I get paid per job, like $100 per thing, because these things are high end, whatever
Wow.
they do or whatever. And so he's like, I don't want to give up that job
That
because
safety
what
net.
if I fail? And but yet he's actually kicking butt. You know, because he really wants. I keep telling him, if he quits, he would do 20 transactions. Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
but he's a one income, so he's got to.
he's a
Okay,
single
family.
guy, and he's
No,
just a
he's
little
just
nervous.
got a fiance or a girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah, right. So then Scott was saying that he could do that where, let's say somebody was paying $1,000, and let's say you had 10 people, and everybody was paying $200, but somebody was paying $1,000 because they wanted more leads. I think it would have to go like round robin, all the way down, and then it would come back to that 10 person. Here's $1,000 person, and he might get 2 leads, and then it goes round robin. I don't know. I don't know how that would work because there would be a percentage ratio in there because you'd have to be fair. But I don't even know if I would want that. But then the other thing was, do we want the leads? Because like he was saying, we have the leads either go to one person round robin, or do you send it to 3 people at the same time?
But here's the deal, though.
Because then
that's what-
someone's going to land it.
But that's
And
what we.
someone's
But
not.
that's what we were doing with Zillow, and you weren't sent. They weren't being. They weren't
Yeah.
being sent at the same time.
It has to be
Because
5
I
minutes or
literally,
something.
95% of the deals of the time, I would get the lead has been taken
By
text.
Mark Main.
Yeah, the lead has been taken text, then the lead is available text.
Yeah, that's not.
So, and then the ones
That
that
isn't-
weren't,
That's horrible.
I click it as soon as I get, and it was
Like
already
he
gone.
had slower internet than Mark Main.
Well, it was-
something was weird
Well,
about
it was probably
that.
different carriers,
Right, exactly.
you know, and it was like, and then Brenda took me off the list. I said, why'd you take me off the list? I said, oh, I took you off the list because you don't ever respond. And I go,
It's
"No,
already taken before.
It's taken before I get it.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not
So-
gonna, so I was, well, I wanted to,
You're right,
you
yeah.
know, between her and the Jay Kelson thing, she cost me a lot of money,
You're right.
you know.
Well,
So
so,
frustrating.
so on,
Oh, horrible.
so on that, so would you, I don't know how that could work, but I feel like that's exactly what's happening with this, these other leads, Upnest and Referral Exchange. It's going to multiple because Gina and I went to one of those leads that we landed and off of Referral Exchange. And we go down there and I go, so have you had any other people call? And she says, oh, I had like 60 people call me. And we were in the house. We got lucky. Like I called right away. I clicked on the thing,
remember you saying
called,
that.
and I went in there. So
Yeah, so where would the leads come from?
You have to say you have 5 minutes to call this person or it's going to the next person.
But the
Has
way
to
that
be
they
like
pitch it
this.
doesn't sound like that. It's like, oh, you have to claim, you call them and you claim it, then you're good.
right, that's
But,
what.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
Because
I've
like
asked lead
50,000 other
services, so
people.
if I get a lead, is it me exclusive? Oh, no, it's going out to like 7 others.
Right. It's like that
If
for
you
all
want
of
the
them.
exclusive, it won't be 500 a month.
Oh my
It'll be
god.
3,500 a month or something like that, right? And I'm going,
It's so wild.
Okay, so here's what you have to think about. We just talked about if there was 10 of us paying $200 each. That's $2,000 going towards advertising. We're really going to want that 25% referral fee to get a marketing manager to expand beyond, right?
yeah,
So, what if, like I just told you, somebody calls 0.1% of the time and somebody calls 95% of the time? Do we go, hey, that lead that went to the 0.1 guy, it doesn't matter because he's paying us $200 for that lead, so he can throw it in the trash. But that really sucks because
Yeah.
it sucks for all of
Somebody's
the other
deal,
people
right,
yeah.
that we want to get more money in to
But I
grow
guess
the
the
thing.
biggest question is where do the leads come from?
Yeah, that's the.
And you know what? Every time I get the call from whoever, and I get them 2 or 3 a week sometimes, and those are the ones I answer because they don't say spam likely, and they are, but at least they're business related. I go, well, where do these leads come from?
Yeah.
They
won't
come
tell
from
you.
the internet. No,
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 they
no.
won't
How
tell
do
you.
they come to
Sky.
your
They're not gonna
site?
tell you.
And I can never get a straight answer.
No.
So
Okay.
it could be, I'm gonna compete with, you know, it's a referral exchange or it's a homes.com lead. You know, like 8 different agencies are shooting that out, and I'm one of 40 guys that's gonna.
Yeah,
you know,
and they
that's the key is you know,
and they
Right,
give you
like
Where
when
do
we
they
did the
come
Zillow, I think I had
Hold on, this is
four out of 6 that I
Scott, I'm
the
at
other
round
2
table.
just weren't really good
You
leads.
gave me
They just
right away?
weren't ready. And the other 4 I closed.
What's that?
We need like a customized
Okay,
marketing
bye.
person
Yeah.
that specifically
So
It's
hunts
good.
all that
where,
down.
yeah, but where do they go?
can really
That
do
too,
that
but like
stuff. That's
even when he was saying like
specialty.
the 1% that doesn't, you know, they have that lead and they're hanging on to it, nobody else has a chance. Like maybe there's something in place where like somebody can monitor and be like, okay, this lead is not being called, I'm gonna pass it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, and sometimes
That would be
It's
a
like-
great system.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
I think Follow Up Boss has that.
you give
Oh,
them
that's interesting.
you give
Yeah,
them
I
15
think they have
minutes,
that.
and you know, hey, sometimes you're not going to be able to call right away.
Right,
Right, you're in church.
I'm in church. I'm
Exactly.
showing
Right,
property.
exactly.
But I think if
I'm
you
on
got a
an
set
airplane.
time period,
Right.
like 24 hours, and that person hasn't touched base or anything, okay, well, we're gonna pass it to somebody else.
Yeah,
Well,
You know?
yeah, and that's
But then that way,
and that makes sense.
somebody's
Couldn't
like,
find
okay,
it?
well, this
Well,
person's not,
batteries
this is
were
a lead
taken
that
out.
somebody else could have been
Yeah,
working.
but you
took them
don't
out.
lose the
Did you
lead.
do it?
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
to somebody else
To
outside of the
yeah,
company.
Should have been the new
Absolutely.
ones. I've just
So if we
put
can
new
have a
ones in.
program
Oh,
that
no, I
allows
took
for,
them
you know,
out,
our
like,
managing broker, somebody
couple
to
weeks
track
ago.
the
Oh, right.
marketing,
Or
just-
to be like,
No,
okay,
no,
well,
we
this
took them
person
out
hasn't
because
been
they
contacted in
wouldn't
24
turn on.
hours.
They wouldn't
We're
run.
gonna, and then you notify the person it's been
That's so
removed,
weird,
give
'cause
it to somebody
I
else,
just
because you
replaced
didn't
it.
do your
I
diligence.
was- I've
And
been
probably
using it.
up front, let people
So
know
it's
that.
so weird.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
100%.
but I think you can just let them know that,
Okay.
I gotta
hey,
find
if
out.
this
Yeah,
doesn't
I
get
actually
responded
left
to
a pack at my
within.
house.
Yeah, we're
We're
not
gonna move
gonna,
this over
Or
to somebody
AAA
else.
Yeah.
batteries at home.
Okay, I have.
I mean, I
do
think that could
too.
be
I'll get 'em.
beneficial, so then that way it's
But,
still not like everybody's still paying the same cost and
you
no,
can
no
get
leads are
this
going
thing
to
on.
waste, they're going to somebody else.
Well, and you'll
You
tell
get this
who's
thing to
not
turn on.
calling.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm back, right in the
Exactly.
Because
middle.
if these are qualified leads, it should be easy just to call and get it.
Well, what they would be is we can make it as loose as we want or as tight as we want. So we could have a landing page, depending on the marketing that's going out there. You know, we could say, search for homes here, and they, you know, sign up, and those are people kicking the tires or search, you know, and those are cold. But then you can make a form that says, you know, when are you planning to sell? Would you like to speak to an agent? Blah, blah, blah. Those are dropping out the bottom, right, of the funnel. Those people are ready to go. So it would depend on the marketing.
We could just
We
rip off
could
and
get
duplicate,
crap.
right?
What?
Rip off and duplicate.
So
You
you're
know, what
supposed to
Zillow
do-
does.
Oh, that's what
Well, what kind of, you know,
Exactly.
Yeah,
let's
and
set it up.
Rebrand and
Right.
move
Pictures,
forward.
copy,
Let's set it up
You know,
exactly
but
how
we
they
could
do it.
even have an
But make it
ISA call these things at some point too.
We
You have
have
to
Rory's
because-
tools.
You have to
Yeah.
too, because you need that acquire system that you guys are talking about
Yeah.
to rank right where Zillow
Yeah,
is
exactly.
too, right?
Well, okay, we don't care about that because now we have advertising. So I was trying to find I was going through Facebook last night, Marketplace, looking at RVs,
I got
and
one if you need it.
an ad popped up and it said acquire, and I
One for
went,
sale right
oh,
now.
that's cool, and I click on it, and it was me going, look, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I remember doing the video like a year ago in the green room, and then Fusion put it out there for me, and they're putting the ads out. You know, that's like my marketing manager, and I was going, hey, you guys, I spend all day doing analysis. I really do analysis on people's houses every day, and if you need, and I was like, you know, that's something AI can't, by the way, can't do.
Your
There's no
energy.
emotion and energy, right?
Right.
And I was going, and I could tell you guys exactly what your home is worth, blah, blah. And I was like, honey, look at this awesome ad right here. And it was on my marketplace, right? So that kind of stuff, you don't need to be organically Googled anymore. So Scott's getting all those leads that I was telling you about where Damon's closing all those things. He's getting those from Google. He's just doing Google AdWords
So
and
that's what
stuff.
I'm trying to like get into that because we do have this team now that can help people
Mm-hmm.
with their online presence. How much
SEO, you're talking about SEO.
No, but so you have a website. How much organic traffic or inquiries have you gotten generated from zero, right? Do you have a Google business page?
We talked about this. You can't get it confirmed or whatever it is.
But
I have it.
I have a
yeah,
team
and
now
I,
that
so
can do
I
it.
stopped pushing that.
Yeah.
I got it already, but then I didn't start pushing it because I'm not pushing property management anymore.
So an agent called me yesterday and said that he's been getting organic leads from
yeah, you
Google.
can. You totally can.
From Google, but it's coming from his Google business page because he pushes the people
Yeah.
to comment and this and that,
Yeah.
which kind of opens
Blogs.
up the Google search. So, so while you guys are paying for that, you also need to work this end too,
Yeah.
which is the Google your organic leads that just come to you.
It's referral.
Is how that.
Can you get one of your marketing people to come and talk to us?
Yeah, how do you
Let's
get
do
the,
that.
how do you push the Google?
So
business
there's
page? I don't
there's
know.
so many different methods. That's why kind of a marketing person would
Yeah,
be good
get
because
this person in here.
it's like, I had a guy call me from Wisconsin and he's like, hey man, I looked up your YouTube channel and you got thousands of followers and I would like to help you get more business if you just give me like 5% referral fee per closing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know, man. And he goes,
That's
I'm
my
telling
pitch
you,
right
I normally charge realtors a lot of money, but I can tell you're a closer, and I'll just take we can make a deal. I just want to, and I can tell he's trying to make money.
He's trying to grow
putting
business.
his own skin in the game, where he's saying, you just make videos, I will put them out there, and I will get you business, and then you can pay me from that. And I'm going, and I was like, man, I don't have time to make the videos, but something like that could be huge. He literally is.
So we
He's
have.
confident
Yeah.
in his abilities.
So he does like an audit to see where you are and stuff. We have the
Right.
same thing, except
Yeah.
that our team doesn't charge anything. It's to generate our title business. So
Oh,
a
right,
tool
of
we
course,
have right
right.
there.
it's a
Yeah.
tool. So I can definitely have her Lisa come in and
Just start.
Uh-huh.
Just start
That'd be
with
pretty
that.
awesome. Yeah.
Good advice.
And I would think that we would all start making, because we could all start making like videos of things that we can stick out there, kind of like that one I made a year ago and I forgot about. I just was in there for 3 hours and made like 10 videos, and they're just throwing them out randomly, and things like that. We can do that kind of stuff.
yeah, I think working both ends, figuring out both ends, because you also want organic stuff to come to you as well. So figuring out that piece and then going in on this, like
Yeah, organic, as long as it's not SEO type organic, because I worked on.
And
We used to be
that
on the
doesn't
first
work these
page of
days.
Google for
Yeah, like-
for years,
yeah.
but it took like 80% of our day.
And
What
I
is
have an
SEO
SEO
again?
certification as
SEO
well,
is
but I can't
engine-
get things
Search
to
engine
move.
Okay,
optimization.
optimized.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Okay.
because the market is so saturated for real estate. You have to
Yes.
consider. I set up a real estate website for an agent. That's not going to get as much traffic as my welder guy who gets 5 leads a month
Yeah.
just from the website I set up for him. And I
Right, because he's a welder,
Yeah,
and nobody's
right.
a
And
welder.
And
Yeah.
that niche.
Everybody,
right.
Is
And-
trying to be a realtor.
Yeah,
And the way-
exactly.
and the way the search option, the SEO goes, is Google's constantly changing their algorithm. So when it first started years ago, I could go and buy links on people's
Yes.
websites. Well, then they stopped the links and they said, okay, only links on sites that are they have a rating, a ranking, the website. So like if you got a link on Home Depot, you're worth something, right?
Yes, the
Okay.
backlink.
So they changed
Yeah.
the
Right, that's what that
algorithm,
is.
right? So now the
you get 'em
backlinks doesn't matter. And then if you got then they change it to where, okay, now if you get a backlink on an education site, EDU, well, that's pretty good, right? That's better
Right.
than Home Depot.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Or the
oh, if you get a
You're
link
chasing. You're
on a
chasing.
gov.gov, you're definitely you're
Yeah.
better than anybody,
Oh,
right? So then you're
You
spending
shut down.
hundreds of hours constantly trying to stay on
And
top,
just
stay on
spinning
top,
your wheels.
and they keep changing their
Yeah.
algorithms around. And so all of a sudden I was like, oh, all right, screw the SEO.
Mm-hmm.
And because then they started saying your site has to be so many years old. and then it has, you know, if it's more than 10 years old, you're better. And then they just kept changing it. So all of a sudden, now
So
Scott's
SEO's
like,
not even a
Dad,
big deal.
forget
It's just like
SEO.
following the
It's gone
algorithm.
forever. We don't care anymore. You can just pay for ads now.
Yeah, see.
I want to share a few things with you guys before I leave. I have like T-minus 8 minutes, really, before I should go.
Go ahead.
But I came across a cool thing yesterday when I went to our Stetson Ranch listing.
Uh-huh.
We've been getting a lot of feedback. You know, this listing's been on the market for over 250 days.
Oh.
And a lot of the feedback that we were getting at first was, oh, the carpet's not good. Oh, the paint's not good. Well, now we fixed the carpet. We fixed the paint. We were still having people come through saying, oh, I don't like the floor plan. You know? And so, okay. I thought
That's
to
all our
myself,
feedback. Bad form.
Floor
Yeah,
Bad form.
kind of like other than that.
That's
so,
they didn't like it, but they didn't give a reason.
yeah.
Floor plan.
No, you have
It's
to go
literally-
upstairs to
It
get
is
to
the
the
floor
unit.
plan for sure.
Oh, okay.
One of
So,
those type of condos.
My thought was, well, what else can we do to try to weed it out or make it clear that, you know, we know when we have a showing that, you know, this person knows the floor plan.
Yeah.
So I found this new app. It's free and paid, you know, depending on how crazy you want to go. But I went into that listing. I pressed record for, you know, what, 5 or 8 minutes I was in there. I, you know, just recorded basically all the trim work and, you know, video of the place. And then a couple hours later, I got all of these floor plans.
Oh yeah, show us.
So this is the entryway. I know with that.
Look at this on film.
I could, yeah. In the future, we could always set up a Zoom link to screen share if we ever want to present something. But I've got the floor plan here, where you see the foyer. You enter here.
That's the front door.
Yep. And you're
Go
greeted
up.
with the steps. So that's what people are complaining about. If I can get my thing to work right. This is the kind of upstairs loft area. That would be like the 3rd floor, and these are the stairs leading up to it.
Can you believe
Are
that?
you
That is
kidding
a
me?
film.
That's from
You
your
literally-
pictures that you
This-
took?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's insane.
It's
Wow.
got dimensions and everything.
That is
It even
crazy.
got the balcony.
Look at that. The
Yeah.
toilets, everything.
Yeah, let me see if I can get this. as
So
a-
that did that with.
Yeah,
Technology.
see, we're all amazed.
Yeah,
That's
You
pretty
guys are
crazy.
boring.
I was
lives.
blown away.
Look at that.
And the
I'm taking
measurements,
a
I need a
picture with this
vacation.
phone.
the measurements are actually
That's
pretty
insane
close.
from pictures.
So when
That is insane.
you can see floor
Floor
1,
3.
floor
And
2,
AI is gonna take
floor
over
3. It's got all the dimensions in there. They didn't miss a beat, and you can see the.
Now, is the square footage accurate?
Yeah, is that all?
So that actually led me to a whole nother conversation.
Because every time I have, like my
111.
my photog do it, he's 400, 500, 600 square feet smaller. So I get rid of that.
this actually
Oh, look,
isn't.
1200.
Yeah, this actually isn't too far off. The assessor's records has 1306. Somehow in the MLS we're off. We have to fix that. But the assessor's record says 1306. This got 1257. You know, so we're just displaced by probably the 50 square feet or 60 square feet for that
When you put
entryway.
it in the
Does that
Yeah.
look pretty?
Yeah.
you better fix it.
And, yeah, and does that look like the unit that you were, or whatever it was?
Yeah, absolutely. It perfectly portrays the floor
that's
plan.
unbelievable.
You know, because from the foyer, you got the stairs that go into that living room here. I was able to scan that little balcony,
You could put that in a
that
buyer's
bedroom,
package.
the laundry that's there, the kitchen that's right there. You know, Rob's, you've been there.
Yeah, that's free.
This was free.
How do they do that for
You add
free?
that
This
to your
did
marketing.
not cost me a dime. Now they do have a paid version, which their first free sample, I got all the bells and whistles.
First one's free.
Yeah.
I remember that on the
How
plane.
much is that a month?
It could, I think they do it per floor plan.
Okay.
So like it could be $15-$30 to just get a good floor plan
That's
on there.
crazy technology.
So now
That's unbelievable.
that's gonna go to we're gonna put that on the MLS, and then I want to do a property boost on that to see as a final hurrah in these last 100 days. Hopefully we can get something going.
Wow.
So I wanted to share that with you guys.
And that's the
This
Cubic
is
Casa?
Cubic Casa.
We get that through MLS now, right?
No, I think that's
Really?
Core Logic that might do something similar.
No, it's Cubic
you guys
Casa.
have
Yeah.
cool
I didn't take the class,
That's
but
a First American.
Yeah.
they were doing, there's some, we get Cubic Casa through MLS now, or through PPAR.
Oh,
Really?
well,
Yeah.
And none of the, I mean, I would run with that and
I
put it in
think.
your listing presentation,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Well, when you pay, like Pixvid or whatever, they do all that for you.
yeah. Sometimes your photographer may, because Rob
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
above and beyond for all of his listings, right? So when he gets someone,
Sorry.
that's okay.
My
Rob has
photog
the
does
money
it,
for
I
all
don't think
these
it's Cubic
referral
Casa,
services
something
too.
very
So if you
similar.
want to talk about organic stuff, I can help you with that.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
actually, I'll
Cubic
leave
Casa
you,
listing floor plan.
uh,
It's under Pikes, it's right underneath that matrix.
Cubic Casa and our tools in PPAR.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, I
That's
didn't even
awesome.
know.
Okay, wow. So it
Um,
might be free for us.
Another thing I'll share
Add a,
with you
add a
guys.
floor plan with room dimensions to your listings for free.
Dude, that's
That is amazing. Through
we're always looking for
PPAR.
the next shiny object. Always.
And not only is it for free,
Is
it's
the toilet lid down?
for free.
That was racist. Sexist.
But that's why we
Anyway,
come to
someone
roundtable,
meant to take
guys.
the
No one would
pictures.
know.
Oh,
No, other
Yeah.
agents who
We
haven't
would have
come, they
not
missed
known
it.
that.
Nobody's talking about that right now.
So that's a huge thing that we're gonna do. And then, as you on the topic of lead generation, you guys are talking a lot about how do we get organic leads. And one thing that I've been recognizing is a lot of us, all the 5,000 agents in the Springs, are all doing first-time home buyer lead campaigns and all types of, the generic stuff you see. Even our
Reverse
patio,
mortgages
even our patio
stuff.
home stuff. What I want to do, it kind of matches what Rob's philosophy is of partying his way to the top, right? Is trying to do things that I enjoy, and I just so happen to generate leads without feeling
You talk.
like I'm doing it,
Right.
without
Yeah,
it being
that's right.
salesy.
That's right.
So I actually made a list. This is a list that I made of joyful ideas that I would like to do and invite people to come along with, and maybe in the process I'll be able to generate leads. But the leads and the sales isn't going to be the primary focus, right? The primary focus will be the event. The sales comes naturally, right? If you do it right. So of my 10 ideas, maybe you guys can make something like this into your own interests. But liberation through literacy book club. I'm all about financial literacy, so I think we need to keep educating people.
Yeah, I hate to read, so that's out.
Yeah.
I'm a voracious capture.
Community
Come on, they
tour.
have
Yeah.
the auto
Community
books.
tours, getting a little wagon and
YouTube.
driving around town, showing people Manitou,
Oh,
Garden of the
YouTube.
Gods,
That's a
healing
good thing.
experience events like sound baths, things like that.
Sound bath?
Yeah, reset,
It's a thing.
recalibrate
It's a thing.
retreats.
You take baths with people?
At the listing appointment.
I think that would,
Take your bath with
That's how you
me.
get listings.
yeah, I think that would violate my probation. so.
Crafting workshops, so like even if it's just making candles or making those DIY, those digital keychains or business cards that are NFC enabled. Garage sale collabs. I'm working on my Springs Exchange pop-up market. That's something that I really want to get going. Community cleanup days or service projects.
So you invite all your clients to clean your
Yeah.
garage.
Yeah.
And Daniel, invite us so we can support you in this.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's
If
just
we-
an
if people
idea. I
show
don't
up,
have to do
yeah.
all these
Yeah.
things, but these are just an idea. And the idea is
Right now,
that
give
if
them
you
some.
do something niche like this and you're advertising something niche like this, you're more likely to get clicks, feedbacks,
Yeah.
people interested, because you're not fighting all the other 5,000 agents who aren't
First
thinking.
time home buyers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're not fighting that algorithm. You're just saying, hey, you know what, maybe I want to connect with people who are interested in self-improvement and, or financial literacy, and I'm going to naturally gravitate those types of clients, those types of people. Now,
You're building a good foundation.
yeah, I may get some broke people. I may get some low-income people.
okay, so look at this.
No, all the broke people are coming to my event.
Okay, you guys see this page right here? This is me. It says, do something with Rob Rymouth. I created this
Wow.
years ago. And it says, I created this page for us to meet and have fun. Yes, I'm talking about you, who's reading this right now. Join us in having fun in Colorado Springs. And so what I would do is I would set up, like I would say, who wants to hike the peak with me? And so I had like
How
a
was the
dozen
turnout?
people
That's
show
what he's
up.
talking about.
Yeah, a dozen people show up that didn't even know who I was, and they would show up and we'd hike the peak
'Cause they
together.
like your
So
picture.
I was partying my way up.
He's very
Right.
photogenic.
So then I went. I have a little video. It says watch this video, and I basically am saying I want to do things with people that I've not done. So somebody said, "Hey, would you go to a punk concert with me?" So I went to with us, and there was a bunch.
Did
of
you
people.
go?
I went, and I got in the mosh pit. And here I am, 50-something years old. And I'm slamming these little kids. I was like, "This is
My
fun,
God.
right?and I just did it. I'm just doing things that I
Yeah.
want to
Now,
do,
is there,
right?
That's what I'm
is
trying
there
to
any
do
kind
too.
of security
You're trying to do
back?
mosh pits?
No,
Background
no,
check?
no, my
Look.
back won't take it.
Look at this picture.
Did you hear what happened to Dave?
I'm with the lead
awesome.
singer. They got me to get with the lead singer and he came out, and I took a picture with him.
That's what I think.
And,
People are gonna meet up. Like, what if they try to kill you?
It's
It was-
organic.
it was like a
It's
meetup.
organic, right?
That
Daniel's
is
like,
awesome.
I
Right.
like that.
That's
Okay.
that's the idea.
Okay,
you
so-
know?
That is awesome.
So then another time I did a go see the Fall Colors, with Rob Rymouth. And so I said, what I'll do is, because I don't know who's going to show up.
Right.
I just put this out and I spend like $25 to get it out to people or whatever. And so I said, I will be at Rudy's barbecue. I'm going to hold up American flag at 10 a.m. And whoever shows up, we're going to go see the Fall Colors up in Cripple Creek
That's
or
awesome.
whatnot.
I think that's great.
And all of a sudden these people are coming, hey, are you Rob? I'm like, yeah, I'm Rob, man. Right on,
yeah,
park
but
over
they
there.
look you up. Who is Rob Rymouth, right?
That's right.
They look you up and then they know.
And so,
He's a realtor.
and so I started doing all this stuff, and it was like, oh, this is so fun, and it really,
Can I steal
It's
that
ex-
idea?
I
oh
know.
yeah, it's exactly what he's saying, and I started doing that, but then COVID hit, and I kind of
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
You have
But-
to make yourself
but I did a
part of the
film.
community. You have to.
look at this video right here.
And get
Look at this
like
video
2 or
right here.
3 of those
This
things.
was us going. And what you do is you take a video every time you go. You take video and
Yeah.
you make a little video and stick it on your page so people can remember. And now, if you think about all the free things you can do,
Yeah.
the going and see the leaves is free. Going down to the Pioneer Museum. Have you guys ever been to the Pioneer Museum?
No.
Think
That's
about all the
another
people
thing.
that
Isn't
live
that
here.
free?
It's
It's
like
free.
$8.
Yeah.
Go to the Pioneer
It's horribly
Museum with
boring.
Rob Reiner, right?
Horribly boring.
Right, and so
That's not that bad.
it's actually really fun because you
Yeah.
can see all those old pictures
I'll
of
go with
Colorado
my kids,
Springs
like,
and how it
for
works
their-
and stuff.
I'm gonna get a rage room and
Or
I
like
can
the
go on
old-
break stuff.
Or the old jail and
But here, let me
Cripple
show you
Creek,
this here.
Right? Like, dude, that's pretty interesting.
But
too.
like you'll see some of these people. Some guy showed up in a Tesla, one of those
Cybertruck?
$200,000 cars.
Oh, roadster.
Yeah, he showed up with that, and he was like, "Dude, I saw you on Facebook." And so I had all these people
How
do
fun.
that.
That's awesome.
That is a great idea.
It is. I mean, because at the end of the day, we need to be, or you need to be the experts in the community.
Right.
And so that kind of establishes.
How about
you
everybody
as the-
meet me at Fargo's Pizza? How about everybody meet me, right?
Uh-huh.
All these different things where people, we have so many cool things in this town that nobody does because we all sit there like this at home.
Pretty much.
Well, and
Right?
everyone's buying
And,
things now.
just get out and do something.
You
Yeah.
know what's
Together,
crazy
though, we have
is
to go together
as
and
I was-
create more hype.
Oh,
because
I
there's
think
more
it'd be
hype.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
as
think
I
we
was
should do that.
We
It'd
could
be
do
so
that
much
within
fun.
the agent, the acquirer, whatever we call it.
Send
Uh-huh.
out
You know,
blast emails
Absolutely.
and say, all of us are going here.
let's
Come
just
join
start
us.
partying and doing things
Yeah.
and
'Cause that's
creating
what-
events.
Yeah.
That's
Meet
what
our
this
crew.
lead generation
Yeah.
stuff that you're buying all these leads is removing you from the community.
Yeah.
It
Right.
really is.
Referral
And-
is the way to get
you get
business.
lost in
That's
the
how
ocean
you get business.
of other people who are doing the same thing
And-
kicking
yeah.
the same cans.
Because everyone's
The
going
same
to that
first-time
I
market.
home
think we
buyer
should shift that thing
campaign,
you're
the
talking
same-
about into
yeah.
organizing
Yeah.
us as a group
I think
socially in this
and that's the
office.
way-
Well, I
party
think
to
that
the
would be
top.
one part
Yeah.
of it.
Pretty
You know?
valuable.
Do
Because
all the
if
things you
people
like to
are,
do.
let's say
Social
somebody
events.
goes to the Pioneer Museum and this person goes to a punk concert and these people go to right, and then they start seeing our ads too. I was with
We
those
all
people.
go
They'll
to-
never
to
I was
forget
with
you.
those
We
people.
need to
You'll
show up
never
at
know
each
those
other's
lines.
open houses. We need to support each other. You know, Heather advertised one a couple weeks ago, and I said I'm going to come and show up. It ended up being the Nuggets playoff game, so I like Heather.
You're right. Yeah.
But you know, we need to show up for each other.
That's another
Right.
thing too.
It
is when-
creates hype.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you know what else too is on that subject, when you guys are posting on Facebook about your open houses, are you boosting those posts?
I usually
It
put them
kind of-
out
it doesn't
a
always
week
do
in
it.
advance. I
Yeah.
don't boost them. I
But
don't
boosting
pay
Have you
in
ever
my
this
tried it?
office.
No, I invite like 500 of my friends, and that's
Yeah.
my boost.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, getting it into the feed of your Facebook, like that might help a little bit.
Yeah. But it's about doing it sooner. It's a bummer every time I see an open house ad.
It's like 2 days before.
Yeah, and it airs 2 days later.
Yeah.
Like this open house happened. There, it's like happening now, and you finally see the post 2 days later.
That's happening with Rick DeLong
Right,
and that
yeah.
out there. Like he's
Yeah.
having an open house, but then it's not hitting the Facebook feed till the day after
because he
the open
has
house.
to do
Yeah,
it a
yeah.
week. He has to put it away.
We can buy and sell within this group. Say, I have a listing coming up next Saturday. Does anybody have a buyer for it? It looks really good to our clients. Like there's
Absolutely.
people in
Right.
my office interested in this, and we can sell it before it even goes on the market, which is not always smart, but it looks good.
Yeah.
I think
I am part of
maybe
this
we should
office in this group, and we can
Find
do
more ways to
this, and we
collaborate.
can
yeah,
do
because it's your
that.
network.
maybe
it's
we
your
should
buyer and seller network.
do
I
like
have something
a
coming up, and this guy in my
Yeah,
office has something coming up,
absolutely.
and I'll get you in it before anybody else. And that's the kind of stuff.
yeah.
I think
because-
that happens a lot out there with where people
We have
will
enough
have
people
that,
here.
and they go to their network
Yes,
first.
yes.
And, you know,
Because if you think about
Wants
the
and needs.
diversity range in something like this, like like we talked about the punk concert and this thing, there's people that won't come to the punk concert, they'll go to the
Right.
leaves, and the
Right.
punk people won't go to the leaves, and the blah blah blah, right? So I think that maybe what we can do is let's create this acquired advantage program, see who wants to join, and then let's just get together and develop it together. Like let's figure it out, because if we have to pay someone over here to do some ads on Facebook or whatever, then we have to pay a coordinator to figure out how to coordinate things.
I like the social
'cause-
element, though. The real life, in person social.
but that's what I'm saying.
element.
Coordinate
Yeah.
something like a
Yeah.
punk concert or whatever. Just
Yeah.
where some people are not going to want to go to that, but we're tapping into different avenues all over town, and
yeah, different demographics.
different
of people,
demographics. Who wants to go to the Pioneer Museum? Not a lot of people.
The
Maybe a
boomers
bunch of,
might.
maybe somebody will that has
Like-
some money. Like
You meet one
But
or
the
two
punk
people.
rock
Those
shows,
talk,
the
those
Gen
people
Zs
talk
and
about
all
you.
that
You never
stuff.
know who it's going to be.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you make a connection
That's
with
right.
somebody. Next thing you know, they're going to their bridge club and telling everybody about you.
Right,
And every once in
exactly.
a while, you don't know who it's going to be, but there's pivotal people.
yeah.
And then you just run with that.
I thought
referral
about hosting
business.
poker in this office, like every time. But you're gonna do it over there.
I'm
Heritage. He's gonna do it at Heritage.
Right here.
He's gonna set up a bunch of poker rooms and.
You guys need to go to
At
my
Heritage?
cabin.
We do.
There's a poker table.
Oh yeah, I got my whole
It's big.
basement is a
I'm
poker
booked
room.
the
Yeah.
next 2 nights. I got
Yeah.
poker the
Yeah.
next 2. No, not tonight, but Friday.
I'm
and
hosting this
Saturday.
weekend, this Saturday.
One of yours.
It's a huge one. It's gonna go until about 3 in the morning, I think.
So
It-
okay.
There's like
oh god, I'm gonna come to a
$6,000
later
a
game
stake this
Yeah.
Saturday.
Is it all men? I mean, what's the
No,
club?
there's
There's a
a
couple
women
What's
there
the
too.
club all
There's a
about?
couple women.
Is there a big buy-in? Is there
No, so we do
Do you
$40
have to do shots?
$40. No, it's serious.
That's my
Okay.
other league.
No. Yeah, it's
But I
a
don't drink, so.
Yeah, he goes to one at the bar where they make you buy drinks or whatever. No, nobody drinks at this one. They
Yeah.
drink soda because it's serious, because
Yeah.
there's real money at stake. But there's a $40 buy-in, and it goes every 2 weeks, and you develop points. And at the end of the year, at the end of the season, it's like a league. Our final table is this Saturday that I'm hosting, and the top people out of, I don't know, maybe 60 people, there's top 10, and they're playing for the top spot is $3,200 because they took a little bit of money
I'm
from
gonna need you to
everybody.
I wanna
text
go-
me when
But
that
then
game is
after
almost
that-
done, and I'll come to the.
But then after
Hours.
that, so
Is the
that's
cash
like
game.
6 to 9.
Yeah.
We're doing $100 buy-in, and everybody shows up for that. And then it has every 30 for the first hour and a half, you can rebuy with another 100
Oh, that
if you
just
lose.
went over my head.
Yeah.
You know what rebuy is?
No.
You
So
can buy
like,
back in.
let's
You've
say you
lost all your
get,
chips.
you get $10,000
And
in
you can
chips. You lose your chips.
Who's
you
the
can pay
banker?
$100 and get 10,000.
You have a
lose your
banker?
chips, 10,000, right? And so people will buy in and buy in and buy in, and then the pot goes.
I want to watch.
And then after an hour and a half,
I'm playing
no
that
more
one. I'll be
buy-ins.
at that.
Tell me so I can go watch.
It's fun. Well, in the league, I didn't qualify for
Oh,
their
so
last
this is
table
just-
because these
But
guys
you're
are
coming for the
sharks.
$100. You're coming for the $100
I'm coming for
one.
the $100
Yeah,
one,
you
yeah.
have to.
I
dude.
am.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
huge.
I'm gonna sleep
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna have you call me an hour before.
That's
Sounds
right,
really
yeah.
fun to watch.
Are you in the final table?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna win some money.
Those
this
guys
year.
are, and it's a
So how
turbo
many?
style. The way
Huh?
the way
10.
that they
10 in the final?
at,
10 at the final
his
table.
house, it's a turbo style. So like it's quick, it's real quick,
Is it
and you have
winner
less
take
chips
all, or-
too. So it's
Well, it's when you say turbo style, it's like it's not. You're still dealing cards and it's slow. It's not like that turbo, but we make people ante up higher amounts of money every 20 minutes.
So you raise the blinds?
Yeah, the blinds keep going
Then they
up and
start
up.
dropping
Yeah, you
out.
play
And so it
sometimes
gets,
like,
it starts
okay, let's
taking your money really
move the blinds
quickly.
up, you've been playing
So
for
you
2
have to
hours,
play.
like,
If
the
you don't
blinds
play,
are-
you're gonna.
You know, 10 and 20. It's like, we're going to be here till.
oh no, we go
Oh,
up to
no,
like
no.
5,010.
We're going to miss our
Oh yeah, it
vacation
goes
next
up
week.
to
Yeah.
1,000, 2,000 in blinds, and
Yeah.
so you're like suffering.
Oh, I'm
You
hooked.
know, and-
I'm
yeah.
hooked. I have that addictive person.
He never played poker in
I
his
had never
life.
played poker,
And I had
in
him
the last
come,
month. I've
blown
won
away.
2 tournaments.
Oh, nice. I see.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is. I'm having
Okay,
fun
well, I'm
with it.
kind of excited about all this stuff. I think
Yeah,
we
good
need to-
brainstorming.
That was good
Um,
stuff.
We're gonna start. I'm gonna start talking to Scott, and I think we just need to have a meeting. If anybody's interested, let's meet. Let's hammer out some details, and then I say we do it because it'll be fun.
Yeah, and let me know when you guys want me to bring Lisa in.
As soon as possible. I
Yeah,
think.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Like I need to learn that.
And I have to grab this.
Well, what she'll
All right,
do,
guys.
what she's gonna do is she's gonna
Amazing.
do a presentation, but the